Okay, folks, let's get right to it. A lot to talk about today on a Thursday. Welcome on back. How's everyone doing today? Yes, Mr. Fisher, you were in here first. I had that set up uh, inadvertently, but all good. Send me a note. We'll set you up with us. Signed, the Harmonic Trader. Yeah, we'll give away another book. I'll give away some software. Giveaway Thursday. Yes, the book is The Harmonic Trader I'm giving away this month. That's the first one. Like I said, I found a box of self-published books. Why not give them away? Everyone else, get over to harmonictrader.com, become a basic member, get your free 2-week trial, and literally just got great news that the MetaTrader, eSignal, Ninja, actually not eSignal, I got to check with eSignal, but MetaTrader, Ninja, Sierra, they got the updates with the dot, and I wanted to let everybody know if you're working with one of those platforms, you will need to reinstall the program. You won't have to reactivate, just reinstall. Click on there, it'll take you to the page. All right? Lot to get to. Great to see everybody today. Coming on in for a Thursday. Bitcoin a little bit silent. Markets are wavering a little bit, but we'll get to that. We didn't cover the Qs or NASDAQ, and probably a great place to start because we do have big numbers up here. I'm still fine with our plan for the year. Plan for the year is a 1618, but right now you're dealing with that beautiful bullish bat. The only problem I have here, there's no confirmation. But look at that pattern, guys. 18,086 is that 886, and it's pretty much just like a 2-week, 3-week 886 swing level. Really needing this to hold here for a lot of reasons. Nice to see the pattern, but I would prefer to have HSI generate something in an ideal fashion and then we go. But hey, 4-hour patterns, daily oversolds, all of that still is what we want to see here. Come on. Hold on. Looks like this. So that's the area, but no confirmation. 2 reactions. 18,302 right now is target 1, and you're kind of stalling there for today. So earnings coming up. Things are going to really start to kick off here. CPI, I think everyone's clear on what's going on there. How did you guys like Tuesday's session? Because it really, I think it was timely, to say the least, with gold, dollar, bonds, all of the precious metals, and then CPI comes in hot. And that really is, I think, indicative of how harmonic patterns and the framework clue us in on things that are happening. I mean, gold has been surging, accelerating to 1618 targets. We'll look at that a little bit, do a quick review. But this whole NASDAQ situation, let's go to the weekly. These are the NQ futures. And I'm really focused on 18,339. Look, there's verifiable harmonic levels up here for a pause. Patience, okay? But why is the market not going up when everyone's so hyped for this year? Well, you're just stair-stepping another level. This case, it's a 127. Okay, there was our 886. We blow through 113, and then there's your 127 right there. That's what it is. You have a yellow dot, that's confirmation. Okay, these are the harmonic signals. We do exclusively harmonic pattern levels, structures, framework here. That's my focus. There's a lot of other things you can look at, but the sheer fact that you can look at the software and say, there's a big level here. Market hasn't moved in 6-7 weeks. Should start respecting it. And then you go on a trend line. That's not too crazy. You know, that with some kind of trend channel, we know we could be tight like that, and you're hitting the top end of that inside channel. Or even, you know, add one more. Okay, make that like a pitchfork. Something like that. How you doing on that progress? What's that look like? Okay. I mean, we haven't, if this is going to be our verifiable channel, and this is actually the mid-range of that channel, folks, against a shark, don't be surprised. I mean, it's not a big deal, but we could come back on this a little bit, enough to have some kind of pause. I think that 4-hour chart, it's just, I'm waiting on it. But that's why we're going sideways. We didn't blast through. And we know this because there's HSI up here, yellow dot, and now we're coming out of the zone. So these are things to consider now, at least in the short term. Going to let a little air out of the tires. Can we come down? HSI, can that trigger on the daily? Would be great. And then can we get amplified to the 50 level? We're really close to triggering that on the daily, that this is a mild retracement pullback, and then your 4-hour immediate considerations. I think it's clear. You're going to have to hold. If we are going to roll over, then that bat pattern fails. We don't get any confirmation. So interesting with this coming together. Earnings, in focus here probably next week, next 2 weeks, the bulk of them. But typically, when you see a market that does well in the beginning of the year, something to think about. Really common to get a market high inflection in the first quarter, and then a little pullback. I mentioned this last session, that tax time coming up in the United States. So, people pulling out money. There's certainly not really the net contribution to the market's probably affected. People paying the tax man instead of putting their 401k into the market. But let's get through this pullback. Not just really, it's not much. Other things are impressive. There are other markets that are really popping off of note. We'll get to those, but this continues. So stick with that. I really don't. I just think the deeper the retracement, the better the longer term consequence, bigger the opportunity for kind of that next leg. Here you go. And here's, just do the regression channel pretty much for the year. That's something that this nice channel that we could really even say started January, first week of January, continues, and we have spent 5 days there. Today, 6. Respecting all of it right now. Okay. Final thing that would set this off would be some kind of 3-bar breakout, but that would have to be above 18,478, which is just coincidentally lines up with a target 2 retest off the bat. 457 for that one. We could go there, roll right back down. Okay, it's been somewhat muted, I would say, since even February relative to what happened end of last year, beginning of this year. But this is another type 2 4-hour pattern. Can we get a daily oversold that matches up with this? Would be nice. And take a look at the Qs. The ETF version of the NASDAQ 100. Same deal. That's at 435. And remember, 445, where is it? It's that big hop level on the shark is 438. But where's the, that's not it. Where's my shark? 440, it's 445. 438 hop. Somebody correct me on that. I had 445 on here forever. Regardless, we do have a yellow dot confirmation. We're here at the hop level for now 7 days. 7 weeks, excuse me. Get my time correct. So just frame out that zone. What are we going to do here? That's the make or break zone for immediately. Do you continue the ride? And again, regression channel is really nice. And you're at the low end of the channel. If that was to roll over and fail that channel now in the next 2 or 3 weeks, there'd be plenty of time. Okay, plenty of time for that to have a retracement, but I'm not there yet. I'm still saying, you know, let's just let that be a pause. If we see signs to develop that suggest, hey, we're going to go deeper, so be it. I just think we're going to end this reaction the daily. We will get a daily oversold HSI. We'll probably get a 50 level in this zone where amplified comes down, just letting more air out of the tires, and then we'll go from there. Hey, what's up, Evan? What's going on, Drake, Greg, everyone else? Great to see you today. I hope to be releasing some updates next week. A couple changes to the show, working on a few things. So look for a whole bunch of stuff. I'd like to bring a few other people in, some people that I know in the industry, get some interviews of some real seasoned veterans, even people that have, you know, were well known last century, quite frankly, the second half. So working on a whole bunch of different things coming up. For now, let's focus on the Qs and let's go to the SPY. S&P 500, very much the same deal. Pausing up here. There you go. Trend line, this regression channel. Just that's, if anything, this channel is probably more powerful than the NASDAQ. So SPY at 515 really needs to hold. I almost had a perfect HSI signal down there that would have been oversold. Kind of reminds me of what happened back in October, where it just shy of forming an ideal HSI. So you do have, look, your red line's on. Check out amplified. This is amplified. The amplified RSI indicator, again, yeah, it's proprietary for a reason. Generates kind of a more descriptive signals of what's happening in the overbought areas. But the red line has gone on here, which means just reaction territory. The amplified RSI, just letting air out of the tires. There you go. And we're really squeezed now. I'm trying to see if this can, on the indicator, daily, can you put in a double bottom and start to turn back up? These are the individual things, individual signs you need to see within the daily reading that would suggest, okay, this little pause is over, but it's not there yet. So be patient with it. Okay, a lot to consider with the SPY. The diamonds, they've been a little surprising. I mean, look at this regression channel. Just really going from start from last year or start from this year there. What's going on there? Are we leaking out of that channel? Okay, have to watch it. I'm closely looking at this, 383, generally 380 on the diamonds. If that was to fall apart more than where you are now, I'd be a little surprised and probably going to do some kind of substantial retracement for the year. I'm not there yet, but I'm closely looking at this follow through the last 2 days from last week. I mean, here is, again, pretty good to just eye up what's happened so far this year. There's January. Here's the low for the year. What kind of retracement can we do of this year? Because amazingly, we're already exceeding a 50%. We've given back half the gains on the Dow already. 618 is like 380. So plant that number in your brain for the diamonds, like under 38,000. I'd have to rethink some things that it would maybe it's going to take a little bit longer for the diamonds to eventually make its weekly 1618 extension. That's all it means. And that's the 1618. Okay. Still our plan across the board. Matthew Millar says, yeah, with the AI, I could get a lot of traders with their voice. Yeah, that would be interesting too. But I there's a couple people I have in mind, people you guys have probably heard of. So I started reaching out to a few folks. I know a couple. Some are shy. Some of the older folks, they're just not. They're kind of, I wouldn't say shy. It's just the concept of doing a live stream or even a YouTube thing is just, it's just not what they're accustomed to. I was that way for a while. Had to get my brain around it. I didn't go on Twitter until years after it was launched. We'll see. Anyway, let's circle back. Quick update on gold, because do check out our session from Tuesday. Probably the best workout and breakdown of gold that I've done in a year or more, and outlining where is this going. And we talked about the big patterns, the big structure. This is a 2.0, big A to B, C to D. Oh, sorry, bring that back. And that's 2,800. The 1618 extension of what's happening right now is like 2450, 2460. And that's probably the target for this run. Go to a 1618. Gold loves 1618s. It really does. And then retrace, and then next level to 2800. This is fully intact, folks. And this is exactly what I mean by saying something is up. We've been saying that with gold, especially since the breakout. Pretty remarkable stuff. Daily time frame, looks like this. Recent HSI that's retesting, checking back yesterday, today, and yesterday was really the test, but 2350. You're just starting to scratch maybe some resistance for now, but the bigger targets are already triggered, and gold will have follow through from here. It's just remarkable. Couple more. Crude oil. How's that working out for everyone? Because we were on that way back in January. I mean, we've been on that for a while, but we were on the retest. There you go. Down at 70 bucks. Make your run. Did we get all the way? We're above target 183. Trying to do some kind of crab pattern around 87, but this is a type 2 on the weekly. Off of that weekly pattern, it is a type 2 where 107 has to be a consideration. And I think even if we're generating, you've got some bearish pattern resistance right there. 87, 88. Okay. We could pause there. Not a problem. An obvious static. Look at all the static previous peaks going back 2 years now. Okay. That's some heavy overhead resistance, but that's not what I'm really focused on, because with what we have here of it being a type 2, okay, expect this to be slow, dragging, drifting higher. But the segments are clear. Once you crack above 93, 93.50, crude targets 107 straight off. That's a minimum objective. And then let's look at the all-time chart. I mean, let's get some perspective here. What's going on with crude? Remember this, I don't think I'll ever forget it, but remember that negative, when crude went negative 40? Negative 40. I mean, that's amazing. But the 886 retracement of that negative 40 was something we looked at back in 2022. Okay, we were talking about 125 forever. Well, check out what happened. You came all the way back after that 886, and we did a 382. This is your monthly chart. Like that to there. Okay, 382 was right there, and you had confirmation. What's that mean on the long-term chart? You know, that has significance, especially if we get a break. You clear 93, and then the prior 886. You know, it's just looking at some of these static points here. I'd say that's a really nice looking chart. That's bullish. That's, you know, trying to put in long-term higher lows. If I took off the labels of this chart, price axis, didn't even describe what, you know, didn't tell me what exact market this was. If you told me that was a 5-minute chart, I would say, okay, that's some kind of CPI news shakeout. And this is a high-level accumulation continuation where the obvious move is to go back and retest static highs. All of this points above $100. I mean, that's a key point with how this is coming together. Crude oil moves, crude oil continues, and then you go to the group we've been talking about, Occidental Petroleum, folks. Something's up. Oxy, really firm. I mean, amazing long-term action here. Remember, on the daily, it's coming right off a perfect bat pattern. Oh, sorry, shark to deep crab, whatever. But same type of deal in the stock price here as we see with crude, that the static levels are pretty well defined. Patterns are pointing you back to retest those static levels. And then, you know, I keep saying, I'm not just saying this, okay? It's times where I look at charts from historical perspective, because they don't exactly repeat, but they certainly rhyme. And looking at a stock like this, we have to really watch what goes on here on Oxy. 73, 74 bucks. Knowing that Buffett owns a chunk and he's probably going to try to buy this out, that's sets up a likely price discovery situation. I mean, you got to remember, Buffett only started buying Oxy in the last 2 years. So his basis is like 55 or 60. If anybody knows what that basis is for verification, please let me know. But I know it's relatively new and he's aggressively buying it. He's probably going to buy it before the natural market takes it to all-time highs and just sends it. Same can be said for ExxonMobil. We talked about this recently. That's a massive breakout, folks. That is remarkable. We're talking monthly chart here as well. And I have precedent as well. We can go back to various breakout stages in the history and see similar action and what corresponded with it. I would have to go back to say it's kind of like way back December 04. You get a big push, your new highs, and then you bunch up. You get a lot of consolidation and you continue. Same type of deal. This is actually, that's like a broadening wedge going on there, and same here. Maybe that's more like a bull flag. Up top, that's a broadening wedge. But that is kind of the precedent where you think that's a big move, but wait a minute, there's probably a second leg to go and then some. That's what's going on here. Look, oil stocks are primed. They were a dud for 2023 and and started to peak up beginning of the year. All right. And ExxonMobil, check it out. Hop level at 123.96. What's up there? Big HSI overbought, but hanging up there like a curveball. Need to see this do big things up at 124. Because if we blow it out, then the pattern has failed. And we know what that means. That means it'll run. Couple more. What's the other one? Apache. Yeah. Starting to go. That was a nice monthly chart, by the way. Here's the daily. Double back-to-back patterns. I mean, look, BAT, Gartley. It's going to take its time, but 37, 38 for now, with the eventual range retest at 47. Look, it's really not that difficult here. MRO, Marathon Oil. Yeah, that thing's already taken off. You're up here. You're starting to retest a lot of pattern resistance levels. And I will watch this, but if Marathon comes down and gives like Shark to 5.0, which would be ideal, come down and then blast off and break through these patterns. We're going to analyze a few of these crude oil stocks, explorers, refiners, for that very type of formation. Yeah, it definitely ran. Well, no, that's who said that? Hey, what's up, Greg? Marathon did run, but I think you're thinking of Marathon Petroleum. That's the one that ran. And look, these are still going to go. There's no stopping this. Look, all the money in crude oil is in refineries. Okay, the explorers, they'll always lag. And they're certainly gonna have their day very soon. You know what I mean? Drill, baby, drill. It's going to happen. It will be impossible to not have a massive expansion of development in this country. Okay, think about what's going on currently with inflation. By the way, inflation, I should look at that next week. Do a kind of a big rundown of the CPI. But we've got massive things happening in gold. We have crude oil acting ideal off of long-term patterns and showing lots of strength. All right, this is hot. This is hot economic action. Crude oil is not going anywhere in the short term, but up. Longer term, you have other things possible. Here's Transocean. It's another one. This is more speculative because I'm looking at a lot of these. There are a lot of oil companies that were decimated second half of last decade into 2020. And then they had to base out and they went to like pennies, some to $1 or $2, and then turn around. This is one of them. This is one of them. Others that, like Marathon Oil was one that MRO that I scored right off the low. But where's Anadarko Petroleum? Hold on. APC. Anadarko. APC. No. Hold on. No, wait. Which one was that? Hold up. Let me check. No, let me go to Gush first. So Gush was the directional daily. Remember that Gartley? There. Okay. crude oil has to move for this thing to move. It's a risky asset. It's like the boil of nat gas. We know how that went. This has done a really beautiful type 2 move. Really tough to see, but we covered this at the end of the year, type 1, type 2. Okay, getting up there where we have some confirmation and hitting a bearish pattern. So watch this for now. Okay, but once we clear here on Gush, if we clear out of 47, then crude oil could really start to move because any possible harmonic resistance is busted. For now, yeah, maybe a pause. Maybe a little bit more. But that's just the directional. I think the other stuff, you know, the refiners, those are great long-term plays. There's ConocoPhillips. Okay, a lot of these have done big moves already. And, you know, let them play out. But what I'm really focused on is stuff like ExxonMobil. What happens when these go higher and break out because the longer-term chart is so bullish? You know, longer-term uptrends, really since the COVID low, we have not had a correction. Keep an eye on that. I mean, there's Valero's the other one. Yeah, and then you got Pioneer. These are all back at all-time new highs. Okay, and they're trying to fail major structures. Okay, big stuff. Big stuff. Look at that. There's Pioneer. I know I showed this before. A lot of these had massive patterns right at the 2020 low. Gartley's, bats, some crabs like this. You might say, well, that doesn't really help me right now. It will. It'll be another pattern looking left where you say this breaks out and you clear this 290 level. You go to 1618, 350. You connect dots like this. All of this still points to higher targets. You haven't retraced very much, or 382s. That's it. Again, another market. Something's up. Who said that? Yeah, it's a big W in COP, but the targets are pointing higher, Mateo. Definitely. Universal Code says, come on, bro. Talk about Tesla for once, man. Your perspective would be great. I appreciate that. And why not? Let's look at some green. Let's look at some green stocks. Green energy, you know, Green New Deal. How's that working? Well, Tesla, listen, I don't care about Green New Deals. I really don't care about crude oil. I care about price action, structure, markets, patterns, confirmation. Tesla's sitting on this Gartley. It's a high-level Gartley. Really close. I agree. We should be looking at Tesla. It's been a little bit frustrating because there's been a couple of shots, 195 or 190 earlier in the year, and it was a dud. It was that little bump. But now we have a yellow dot. And here, let me blow this up for you, and this is a good segue. This yellow dot formed 2 weeks ago. They tried to throw it down last week. That could have been scary, but it's pretty clear. That yellow dot, the open of that bar at 168, to be exact, that open level, 168.73, is your immediate support. I would dare I'd say probably a first quality entry trigger off of that pattern with the dot right there. But this bar has to hold. These lows have to hold. There's no more room for monkeying it around, and you might even want to wait for that on the weekly to show us a 3-bar breakout. Give us a firm 3-bar breakout to really say, hey, I'm ready to go. Because if we go from here, target one is still, it's 225. Remains. But Tesla is a buy. Now, the only thing that I am considering with Tesla, this had real, wave of bearish sentiment recently. That's why it hasn't participated in this run since last fall. is that we have a big bat pattern. This is the only, amazingly, of all those bullish patterns, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Google, from 2022, 2023. This is the only one that could possibly come back all the way for a type 2 at 127.88. So Tesla, it's either 168 or it's 127. All right, there's going to be an opportunity here. I'll keep my eye on it. I'm not ready on this yet. Not yet. You could, if you really juiced on Tesla, maybe you just average in. Not my style, but I'd rather wait for that breakout, because normally we get a weekly clear 3-bar breakout. You get continuation off of that. Absolutely. A couple of those other green energy stocks. Look, solar panels. I have a, I have a system on my house, and I think it's amazing. I mean, not what I went through to get it, not the customer service that I had to endure with people. I mean, customer is supposed to be right, but it was a little bit of a pain. But it is an amazing system. So is there an opportunity here after the big correction of last year? Maybe. We're getting close, but we have big retest going on. This is Canadian Solar. That's just one of many. Obvious downtrend, but weekly chart. Retesting what started from COVID. So all that fluff money came all the way back. But hey, just like crypto, all-time 886. Where is confirmation? Well, bearish was the last in February, so you come back down. We're under XA level. We're actually making new lows. Why the heck would you even look at it? Because I think we're getting close to putting in not only HSI, but a higher RSI reading. So it's early. Not doing anything with it, but I'm watching it. And yeah, you had other structures down here too. I mean, you're retesting. Go back there. Go all the way back. By definition, actually, Canadian Solar would be a type 2 at 12 bucks. I think you're going to get it on a discount. Here's the ETF, the TAN. Okay, this has really nice harmonic pattern on the weekly. Look at TAN, folks. The problem with it is you had a reaction from October, but then ran right into an HSI. I'm looking at 40 bucks. Another one where I would prefer to see a 3-bar breakout. Maybe you get above 45, 46, because I know if we hold here and we can clear above XA, you go to target 1. Just taking its time. But nice pattern, right? What do you guys think? What's up, Evan? What's up, John? Welcome. What's going on, everybody? Acrobatics wants to look at AAL on the monthly. Sure. Market's moving up right now, folks. I think we get that 478 today. I'll come back to there in a second. He wants to look at AAL. Yeah, that's American Airlines, right? Do not fly American Airlines, people. If you want to be late, inconvenienced, lose luggage, go on that airline. Seriously. I last time I flew them, it was a night flight. They made us wait 2 hours. They knew the flight wasn't taking off. And then before you know it, they're like, all right, sorry, we're not leaving tonight. You're going to have to go get a hotel. Personally, I prefer JetBlue, Delta. But it is a nice pattern. Speaking of Delta, okay, here's the difference when you actually are making money or progress. You're not just a lousy airline business, but Delta had some patterns last fall. There you go. It was a bat at 35. Now you're retesting this prior shark. Airlines are terrible companies to invest in. Terrible. Tradable for us, but that would be about it. Now, JetBlue, I think we talked about that a while ago. And this is interesting stuff, especially related to crude oil. But look, crab patterns on the daily, and I know this had big weekly or monthly. Yeah, look. So JetBlue is a type 2 crab at $5. And I've been looking at that. I think it's the same on the monthly. Monthly is a bat. How many patterns do we need, right? So I do like the thought process there. Hey, let's not be totally dismissive. Probably will be an opportunity here. $6. What I do like about this is a monthly chart. When I say 3-bar breakout, folks, this is what I mean. We can break it down into the zone. There's the T2. There's confirmation on the monthly, but the trend down was so strong. What bar in this whole consolidation takes out a prior 3-bar range and follows through? I mean, the absolute range. None of them. I mean, you could say maybe that bar because 1, 2, 3, but it's not a clear breakout of the range versus, say, that bar. Not that bar, not in December, but this bar. Okay, the monthly close from February, it cleared out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars, but the 3 are most important. So that would be a critical sign with confirmation preceding it that tells me something is turning around that's a bit more constructive than anything we have seen since the total decline. I think we have a 3-bar signal. Let me check that out. Let me next time. Oh, I know what it was. You know what? That could be a new feature very soon because I was supposed to provide an update. So more on that later. But JetBlue, and then shout out to Vegas. What's up, Vegas? Are you in the house today? Vegas asked me about Hawaiian Airlines, and he caught that right off the low because we had this. And there was a perfect top level. Are you still holding that? Are you in here? Tell me about that. You still holding that? But big patterns are responding. It's just that I wouldn't airlines not chasing. But if we're down there in the zone, if it's like a JetBlue thing, JetBlue is probably one of the better opportunities pattern-wise out there. One more. While we're talking about airlines and related stocks, I wanted Dow Transports, not Trump Media. I didn't mean to hit Trump Media. And no, nobody, DJT, any patterns in DJT? No, Vegas isn't here. He's a busy guy, but shout out to Vegas. I wanted to look at transports, but what's going on here? Trump Media Group, where's the opportunity? Well, the patterns on the daily, shark, pretty interesting. That was amazing what happened here, but type 1, 67.56. Why did it sell off? Because it's not worth that valuation, maybe, or it's just getting rejected at a type 1. Now, let's go to a type 2. 33 to 28, somewhere in there. And look, HSI. Boy, talk about derangement syndrome. We can, all of us, and I speak from experience, we all get market derangement syndrome. I don't care what that stock or market is. If it's a type 2 and it's confirmation, I'm looking. And I don't care about the rest. I know there's people out there that, we have to, we invest, we have to do green investing. We have to, eco-friendly funds, stuff like that. Sorry, it's nonsense. It's complete nonsense. Because a lot of those places usually have a larger carbon footprint than some oil companies. It's just, don't get fooled by narrative in the market ever. But let's look at the transports. That's really what I'm trying to get to, because airlines, larger market. One of the things I wanted to talk about before I get to crypto is that transports aren't following through like industrials or utilities. Something we should all look at. Transports and utilities definitely influenced almost directly when rates are going to be a problem. I'm looking at this closely. Okay, look at the transports up here at the obvious resistance levels. I think I could probably do a full session on transports because we seriously should look at is this continuation going to go through into and broaden out? Because we have yet to broaden out, folks. Not in the way that we truly need to get this next new bull market running hard. And let me look at the utilities. Okay, utilities, interest rate sensitive. Check this out. We're up here, double back-to-back patterns on the utilities. But what's at stake at the moment is possible retest. Utilities to come back down for a type 2. That's the DJU, Dow Jones Utility Average ETF. Keep an eye on that. These need to turn up. I really want to see. I want to see the transports do something, decisive, really turn around, and then utilities need to break that out. They need to bust that downtrend. And you go to a weekly basis, you're right up against that downtrend going back 2.5 years. So broader market possibilities cannot happen until stuff like utilities break above the static highs. Watch for that. I mean, I'm looking at some ancillary markets, much like we did in the Tuesday session, for insights of, hey, when is this thing going to really catch fire? Julian saying buy oil when Iran will strike Israel, the price will go up. You could easily have something like that happen, guys. Evan's right. The summer is going to be wild. It's going to be wild because remember, we've got a fire burning, and they're feeding the fire, folks. Okay, don't get too worked up by everything that's going on. We have some serious issues going on here over this side of the pond. But don't get too worked up on it. Stay focused on the markets. They are flooding this thing with cash. Okay, long-term trend is intact, where we've got serious long-term targets to consider. But stuff like the utilities and the transports, for us to really get going on the long-term basis, and I'm talking about from now to the election, end of the year, and then start to address the second half of the decade. Yeah, think about it like that. What are we going to do the second half of the decade? Are we going to do a blistering run like we did last decade? And where could that possibly go? We need to see this thing start to spread out, broaden out. One more. Again, just kind of all over the place today, but trying to get a broader perspective on what's happening. Here's the Russell. Slow, steady. Needs to get up to the shark at 238, but just hitting a lot of static resistance. Almost broke out last month, but not there yet. And then here's the daily. Check it out. You're up here against this crab pattern for going back like 6 months. Let me clean it up. Take a look. Type 1, bang. Perfect. Now for the 2. That might have been just a skosh shy. Yeah, maybe. That's so close with confirmation too. But target 2 up here, okay. We have the hop level at 211.69. What was the high 5 days ago? 211.88. How's that? How's that for software? A lot of this, it's amazing. There was a lot of discoveries. There might have been maybe as many discoveries made with using the software for me in the last 15 years than the initial stuff that I laid out. Because the real understanding that reaction, bang, reversal, overshoot, hop levels are critical to understanding where the real zone levels are. What area should I be focusing on? And then I have to get confirmation. So look for the Russell, look for those other ones. We need to have a few stellar weeks in these markets broadening out. Not there yet. Let's get over to our favorite asset in the world, Bitcoin. Now, folks, again, if I was to take all the labels off the chart and look at that chart, I'd say that's a really nice chart. This thing is on a rope. I mean, go regression channel, riding the upper band. Okay. Yet to really do some kind of parabolic move yet? Soon. How do we get parabolic, folks? How do you get the massive kind of God candle breakout? You get above the upper end of the band. And clearly, you go back the last 30 days. This is just hugging the trend line. Bitcoin is a technical dream because it follows so many structural layouts and breakouts, channels, patterns, ratios. It's just it really is a ideal technical asset. So we should be looking at this median line, which is 67K. I talked about the 4-hour chart last week and said the following. We have a pattern at 61. That's your 4-hour pattern off the top, prior one. Okay, you had a daily oversold there. And that's the thing I've been saying about crypto. 4-hour patterns, daily oversold, high level continuation. Now, the strongest move is, in fact, we don't retest, which this seems to be suggesting it's going to do. How do you know it's not going to retest? You don't. It's more about time. You get past the pattern. Okay, there's the first high level continuation. That's a bullish yellow dot. But the real result of that kind of strong flex move, that's above the pattern. And so I'll be focusing on this. Said this last week, and I'm just going to stick to it, that the acceleration move, the straight off breakout move in Bitcoin is above 73, 73.5. And I talked about that a week ago. First, it's like mid 80s, and then it's 103.5. That does not change, okay? Does not change at all. Weekly, monthly shark on BTC. Oh, yeah, you know what? Matthew, I did not look at the BTC gold. How about BTC, not GTC, BTC gold? BTC USD against the futures. There you go. What's that look like? 4-hour chart. This is Bitcoin versus gold, guys. That's a type 2 right there. What does that mean? Because I do believe in looking at these secondary style markets to get further insight. And yeah, that's what you have. Perfect type 2, back-to-back patterns. Now that spread ratio is, supported 29 or 28. Yeah, I think that's putting a floor. Okay, where then we see Bitcoin begin to resume against gold. You have to go back here, compare it. Weekly's probably better. There you go. Similar chart. That's Bitcoin versus gold, folks. Bitcoin versus gold futures. What was up here? All-time 886. But it was just a pause. There to there, and then 886. Just shy. Just shy. HSI is there, but I'm looking at the 4-hour chart and stay focused on that 4-hour. At a minimum, look, the software printed the T2. It printed this T2 off the bat pattern right there. In the same way, that T2 is related to that pattern. So this pattern's completed, 29. Bang, come up. Another reaction. Then what was that, last week? No, that was Tuesday. Sorry. We should have looked at it Tuesday. Perfect confirmation. There's our dot. I would say that is as close to being primed to run as it has been in a month. So great insights. BTC tipping its hat. Again, really should not be too concerned. I'm sticking firmly to the 1618. No matter what goes on, even if we came back to 61 or 60,000, doesn't matter. I don't think we will. I think we're a week away from the halving. Is that right? Week away from the halving. And so I expect them to try to run this, maybe even do a nominal new high, and then we'll see. It's still up. The other ones in sympathy, like Bitcoin Cash, perfect example of, it's a beautiful asset, great patterns here. Okay, just respecting the framework. Now, this is ideal because, look, going into the halving, we had a great 1618 extension. Think of it this way. Everyone knows the halving's coming, so they'll pile in. But they can only pile in so far in one shot. And that's what the crab says to me. Okay, you do your run. You price it to a 1618. We were talking 700, 720 minimum. The XA level, 650 as a minimum level. But at the reaction, we went to another HSI. Okay, retest, back down. Now you might say, well, this is getting rejected a few times, but yes and no. You have bullish readings here, almost perfect type 1. Now we have another high-level bullish HSI. And how do you know? Well, how many bars since the confirmation? Because there's 30. So what does that tell you? I have confirmation, yellow dot, beautiful pattern, but all it can do is give me a nominal reaction with HSI to about 600. So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at Bitcoin Cash because after this pauses and does what it's going to do, the breakout above 700 has this stuff. You have some prior, you have some prior signals here. 720, 880 kind of a thing. I like the fact that Bitcoin Cash is well above its 382 on this cycle here. Talked a lot about that there. 382. Yeah, 700. You're at the 382. Get above the 382. With this being, let's do it this way. Get above the 382, then Bitcoin Cash can, target the 886, shy of 1500. And then what's that BCHG? That's been a good one for a lot of people. Remember we got into a bunch of these, way back when. It's clock clean right now, but not a biggie. Probably setting up. Yeah, we're oversold again. So I would be looking for the next HSI in a few days on that. That links up with BCH, and then Litecoin's the other one. There's Litecoin. Butterfly at the moment, 115. Okay, I'm not, if we get a pullback, that would be great. What I'm really focused on is what happens above 115. And I've been talking about that for a while. Look at the monthly chart. All-time 50 is at 226 or 382. It's like 185, 180, something like that. So all good. All good. What's up, Mitch? Mitch is in the house, everybody. Hope all goes well. Everyone, good. Send some good thoughts to Mr. Ray and give him a flex, if you will. We're going to show him some strength so he can kick some butt with what he needs to do. We're looking out for you, man. Always. What about BCH to do? Dumping today? Yeah, it's dumping, but it's a low volume deal. I'm not surprised to see that. We're looking for the larger move on those. I've always said those ETNs, those are lottery tickets. Those are lottery tickets. And remember, GBTC, a great one to monitor because the monthly was an ideal Gartley. We talked about that last week. And what you should look for on GBTC is that 1618 expansion as well. This one's even stronger because look at the inside day here. I mean, this has been insane action. Probably one of the easiest harmonic pattern reversals to gauge because what you're always looking for is this type of a deal. You go, you retest the pattern, you break out, and then once you start to do this kind of turnaround move to run it back, you just go on a bar over bar extension until you do magnificent things, 1618s or more. But even, GBTC, that'll be up, down 8, 10 points in a month easy. Just got to be patient with this stuff. Listen, we're not even at the halving. Let's take a quick look at Ethereum. And I want to highlight a couple of new ideas, things we should be looking at, new patterns for crypto. Monthly chart on Ethereum. That yellow dot won't be official until the end of the month, and Ethereum would have to be bearish, so it's not official yet. I'm looking at the daily. Okay, the daily and the 886. Why? Because another HSI continuation, nothing stops. Weekly time frame. There you go. Here, there, we could, not the best W formation, but certainly 886 at 45, 4600. I think it's on this run, but probably not till after the halving. You got to get a little bit of that euphoria to fire up back in BTC. It's coming. It's really coming. I mean, you should be psyched. How about some big winners? What am I going to do with fetch, guys? What am I going to do? Is this really going to keep going, or time to take a little profit and rotate? My instincts are saying profit, take some profit and rotate, maybe speculate on some things that haven't run, because I need fetch to do this. I need that to break out, turn around on the amplified reading, even standard RSI. Okay, and we could come back, stay up in the zone between 240, 230, and $3 for a while. But the only consideration is this going to be a 20x, 50x, or 100x? Well, no. Not easy, though, to just to sit on that and let that thing hang up in the air like a curveball when it's done such a move, but here we are. couple others. What do you guys have? Julian, let's save natural gas for next time. I've explained why natural gas is the way it is. Natural gas is a byproduct. So it's basically, if they can get somebody to take it off their hands, they're doing them a favor. Otherwise, they burn it. But natural gas has done nothing this whole time. Hey, couple of new ones that I'm looking at that are, I haven't brought them up before. Got some patterns shaping up. Here's decentralized social. All right, yellow dot, daily, oversold, 4-hour time frame. Okay, beautiful crab. Those remain to be the best opportunities, I think, where you can capture these that are running but have retraced and then give you a structure. You know daily's oversold. At a minimum, I can get, 29.50 to 35 as a trade. Just think of it like that. That's a fairly high level, high probability trade. And if I could capture that, and then knowing crypto, it overshoots it more like target 2, those are even better risk reward dynamics. But that's one. A couple others. Gala, yes. Gala does have a perfect type 2. Check it out. It's a bat pattern, 5.5 cents. And we're going to get confirmation soon. So yeah, this has been the formula, the type 2. Really nice bat. Come back. Now we're going to check back. We're actually checking back that confirmation today. Maybe you dip down 5.5 cents. Something like this. Back around 5.5 or a little bit under. And then Gala probably, that sets the stage for Gala to go continue what it started. Remember that way back when, 2 cents. There you go. Or the daily time frame with that. There it is. Yeah, that it was a shark at 2 cents off of that first move. This is the same type of deal. A lot of these have done a first move situation, and now they're coming back. Gala was back to back patterns, and we should continue to look for those. The other one I'm thinking about is Phantom. Okay, this thing was as high as $1.20. Daily oversold, 4-hour coming in. That's a shark to 5.0. I had a bat. I had a few things. Wait, let me see if this is it. Hold on. Where's the Coinbase feed? That usually has the best. This was a bat on Coinbase. It escapes me at the moment. I come back to it. But for now, shark to 5.0. That's a shark at $1 down to 90 cents. Are we oversold yet? Yeah, so we're close. A lot of these really close like this. Probably start the inflection tomorrow going into the weekend. It'll take a little more time. A couple more, guys. Yeah, we can look at Sand. Haven't looked at that in a while. Metaverse. Are they going to get a run? Because they've been muted the whole time. 4-hour. Look at that. Who said that? MTT call. Nice one. This is what we want. Beautiful type 2 on the deep crab. Daily. Do we have a dot? Anything? Back here around 52 cents. But it is strong. Remember, Sand has got this big pattern. Sorry, this big pattern. That's not a good. There you go. That's the big pattern for Sand. So not anywhere close to a 382. That's something to consider, which is surprising because Metaverse absolutely raged last time. But, I still say sand can make it to 350, 360 in a target one move eventually. I don't know space, SPC, SPCE. What is that? Is that the, oh, you're talking about the stock, Virgin Galactic. Yeah, I thought that went, didn't that go, is that bust? I don't know. I'm focused on crypto right now. Let's peek at Coinbase, guys. Coinbase, 250, 260. Okay. Daily oversold, back at around 230. 4-hour chart. Anything here? 222 was the type 2. So I think Coinbase does make the bigger move to remember on the daily, it was this. Okay, it was a deep crab at the low, the hop. We're up here at 270. But the last HSI signal, and this is what's interesting about really HSI, critical continuation, much like that was, much like those two prior signals. So we can get a little sell-off. That's like 10% lower. Coinbase probably going to set us up for another run. And I haven't looked at MicroStrategy in a while. Another HSI oversold. So that's encouraging. HSI on MicroStrategy there at around 1500. 4-hour chart is a little better. I think 1500 sets you up to at least retest the butterfly back to 2000. Yeah, keep an eye on that one. I do like that. Pretty close there. Yeah, a couple more. Cup and handle on coin, Mateo. Yeah, I think so. But listen, with sticking with the framework, looking for daily oversold. Yeah, coin's got it. MicroStrategy. What about the miners? Mara, Riot, CleanSpark. Where are they? Mara back at 17. 4-hour. Yeah, there's yeah, Mara's really nice on that 4-hour time frame. Look, big bat. Maybe we retest that Gartley as well, but we're close. 16 bucks, 17 bucks, somewhere in that vicinity for this to continue. Gartley, retracement pattern, bat, retracement pattern, go again. Even if it's like this, down 113, back down, 886, 113. That happens a lot. I'm going to keep that on that chart. Let's see that play out. Riot is a similar deal, probably better longer term dynamics retesting the weekly zone at 10 bucks already. Not all created the same. I want to see this thing generate an oversold, at least on the daily. Are you there? You're there. You're in the oversold now. Probably a couple days. This is the pre-halving discounting, if you will. And then CleanSpark, impressive. I need to see something oversold. That looks, yeah, there you go. Looks a little early. Maybe we come back next week and that's ready to go. I would think that these miners, they've taken a beating. They tried to run them. 15 to 24, right back down. Okay. But Just a matter of time. This was a weekly anyway. Where the big targets? Yeah, there's the big targets. This is a type 2. Look, type 1 completed, back for the 2. So even though this looks a little toppy, we're still aiming for 28.42. Just taking its time. One or two more. I'm going to go back to crypto. Yeah, hey, what's up, Ken? I did notice TIA. I'm glad that you brought that up. Celestia on a 4-hour. I think it was like at 11 cents on the 4-hour chart. Yeah, we're right there now. Need a dot. You had a couple of patterns here. This thing has lagged coming off the top, but I like it. I just said, or 11 bucks, not 11 cents, $11. There was something at 11 cents though. I have to come back to that. It escapes me at the moment. Yeah, the other one, yeah, DOT and AVAX. I've talked about those lagging, but really good for recovery opportunities. DOT, AVAX, like this. So AVAX is here where beautiful Gartley, right at 45. This is the kind of continuation pattern I do want to see. You got a yellow dot that just formed. I think that was this morning or overnight. And then go to the daily. Daily is another HSI. So trend is still intact. This has to be the upper end of the continuation, like that. Could be worth a shot off that 4-hour, but it's pretty well defined. It's that 45 level. We're looking for that to stabilize, turn around, and resume the uptrend. That's nice. And then the other one is Axie Infinity, which had a good run up to 12, 13, backed off, but has been printing a lot of these 4-hour patterns. This one is, I think it's tradable. You go from like 950 back to 11 or 12 off of that type 2. They've been moving well, but not exploding. So this one, when I go show you the weekly, we know that this is a recovery candidate. But look at the daily target 1 levels at 921. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 times we've held basically $9. Treat that like a range trade, 9 and change to 12. Nice move. And I mean, like within the next month. Would be a nice 25% gain. I know crypto, that's probably, people are looking for 25x, but no, very tradable. And we are at a point where we should be trading more. We should be taking these profits as they bang from level to level. And then once BTC is above 74, okay, then you're probably going to see that next surge. Let's take a quick peek at total before we get out of here. What's that suggesting? Total crypto market cap. Oof. This thing is just coiling hard. Okay. It won't be long. We're going to bust that in a few days. Obviously with the halving coming up, but the bigger deal, again, nothing changes. Even like today, yesterday when market was down, looked like, oh, it's going to roll over. Now it's back up. I mean, you can get a lot of self-doubt can creep in. I was surprised to see how many people thought the sky was falling last week when Bitcoin had, $5,000 point retracement. The 1618 for the total index gets us to over to 4 trillion, 4.4 trillion. That remains the minimum cycle objective for this move and you are at the 886, you're just going to have to do the work from now till then. But that's almost a double in the entire space projected out probably over the next 15 months. Okay, because remember, the halving is the 1 year before and then the 1 year after, 2-3 times or more of that prior cycle. But after that 1 year, in most instances, it starts to fade out. This, yeah, I mean, this very well could, in terms of the total cycle here. All right, here's the year before. Think of it this way. There we were 1 year ago. All effectively the bottoming the year prior at 1 trillion, and then the next year out gets us to March, April 2025, like that. And these gains, so the total gains where you go from 1 trillion to 2.5. Okay, let's just project that same distance. That same distance, equivalent gains, gets you to 380, close to 4 trillion. It's going to be more. All right, so look for these 4-hour opportunities, 4-hour patterns. I'm going to be posting more. I do think, we should have a party next week when this thing starts to go down. It's coming. I really think that once we get past an initial bump, initial resistance, there might be a little sell the news. Once we spring that free, if it's total crypto index above like 270, or if it's Bitcoin above 74K, that's where the whole thing takes on the moon phase, that moon character, where you start seeing big God candles. All right, so, hey, APV, I'll get you a book. How about that? And how about next person to type in Harmonic Trader? I'll send you a signed book. Don't want to get out of here without a couple of giveaways. And then today I want to give away a 90-day HPC software, your choice, software or gold membership. Okay? HPC, first person to type that in. We'll give you a 90-day to either the software or the gold membership. Manega, you win the Harmonic Trader, and VATS, you win the HPC software. All right? We'll give away more next Thursday. Look forward to some updates coming in, some video, new friends, and Bitcoin halving all next week. All right, thanks, folks. Great session, great week. Check out Tuesday's gold review. I think it's important everyone looks at those markets, especially what's going on. If you're not too keen on gold, silver, precious metals, take a look. A lot is happening under the surface. All right, folks, until Tuesday, you have a great weekend, as always.